This is episode 42 of the Anime Podcast with Whooper and Grenchler.
Yes.
I'm Whooper.
And I'm the other guy.
And today we've got just 5 episodes to talk about. We're not doing a season preview like we did 2 weeks ago. Or first impressions, I suppose those were.
And we're not catching up.
Right, we're not catching up either. We're caught up so that we can bring you our impressions.
It's not a hot take, but it's more like a to-go order.
Don't say hot take.
I said it's not like a hot take. It's,
well, good.
It's more like a to-go order that you left in your car because you had to deal with something else, and now you're like, oh, I guess I should eat this. That's what this is.
Yeah. All right. Anything you want to let the good people know before we really dive in? One Punch Man, Carole Tuesday, Fruits Basket, and Planetace this week.
At least I didn't have to turn up my brightness to be caught up with relevant television shows.
Oh, forget about. Yeah. Okay, we're not even going to mention what show it is that you're alluding to, or the big movie that has just come out and everyone is, jizzing their pants over, because those don't matter. Those aren't animated. Well, I mean, parts of them are, but they're not animated by Japanese people who are suffering from poor working conditions and low pay. That's what I really want.
They're probably animated by Chinese people who are suffering in poor working conditions with low pay.
Do you really think that the censored of Thrones are animated by Chinese people?
I mean, I don't know what CG houses they're using, but I would...
Don't you think it's like ILM or something?
No. Oh my gosh, no. They can't afford them.
Really?
Yes.
Not even for like the world's biggest TV series? Okay, you know what? I said we weren't going to talk about this, so we're moving on. Which show should we do first?
The good one.
I thought that all the episodes were pretty decent this week. Kind of. Not really. Not really.
Okay.
Which one do you think is good? One Punch Man?
No, Carole Tuesday.
Really? That's the one that I had the most issues with.
Really?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Looks like this might not be cold fast food left in the car anymore.
We're microwaving it now.
Yeah, microwave it. Okay. Yeah, so the washing machine scene. We have to start with the washing machine scene, the laundromat scene. What the hell was that? I thought it was terrible.
I thought it was, I don't know, funny, I guess.
I just couldn't handle it. I was like, this is like Glee.
Or more accurately, this is like Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Or High School Musical, but
there was a musical number in a laundromat in Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
That's true, but it was actually clever.
Yeah.
This was just did you listen to the lyrics about how...
I read the lyrics. They're on screen.
Okay, but before the song even starts, they've come away from their meeting with Gus at the organic pizza place.
It's like us. We're all spun around and now we're in motion.
Oh, God, dude. The way that Carole compared their situation to the washing machines, that's like my least favorite kind of writing in existence, where you just have to create a parallel for everything that the characters go through with anything, like in the environment, be it an inanimate object, be it, just whatever is on hand. You have to compare your characters to it. That's really awful.
This scene would seem really out of place if we didn't end it with a musical number. So what do? Well, let's write a terrible song about washing machines, and then let's dance in place.
Were they really dancing?
No.
I can't remember. They were just stomping their feet and clapping, right?
Yeah.
And
essentially.
At one point, the lyrics were literally boom, 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 yeah. Is this a Katy Perry song? What is this?
It's 2 teenage girls writing music. Their lyrics are going to be terrible.
Oh, I guess. I mean, I really want to like this show. And I mean, some parts of it I do, but the music is just not for me at all. Like the song's about the girls like spinning round and round until they finally meet each other, and then like their destiny begins.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. It's just too much. It's too much, or rather, it's too little. Like, it's too shallow. If you're going to compare yourself to a washing machine, at least write a song that's deep enough that it could be, filled with a reasonable amount of water. Yeah, or some clothes, which of course are a parallel to your living situation where one of you can't clean anything, so your clothes are probably dirty. Damn, I'm ready to write for A.N.I.M.E.
I think you were ready to write for A.N.I.M.E.
in 8th grade.
Before that, probably. The A.N.I.M.E. adaptation of Bob.
I'm seeing a lot. Oh yeah, I'm seeing a lot of praise for this episode online.
Yeah,
like a lot of people think that this scene was like really, really kino, man.
The washing machine scene.
Yeah, the laundromat scene.
I didn't think it was good. I thought it was cute, but it wasn't good.
Okay, I didn't even think it was cute. Like I just my insides got all like clenched up when I was watching it. Like I was trying to get away from my screen, but I kept sitting there. So.
How about the rest of the episode?
Well,
we have
I don't really know.
Our new manager. I don't remember his name.
Gus
Gus
with the blonde mohawk, the narrator guy.
Does his voiceover sound terrible compared to everyone else's?
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing when I first heard it. I think the idea is supposed to be that he's like, we're supposed to be getting like kind of a world weary performance from him because he's been through the machine of the music industry, come out the other side.
It's not his performance though. It's like,
the recording.
It's the quality of the recording. Yeah. It's just bad.
No, I agree. But I think maybe like if
there's no way that's on purpose.
I think it could be because you can make the case that his character is supposed to be kind of like, kind of old, jaded. He didn't make it in the music industry. Like they point out, the band that he was in, they were just Motorhead copycats.
Right.
Apparently. And then he managed a couple artists who made it big, but were only one-hit wonders, something like that. Yeah. Or maybe he's like a smoker. He's an ex-smoker or a current smoker, and they're trying to give him like a little bit of raspy voice. But yeah, I mean, yes.
It's just the quality itself is bad.
Yeah.
It's like it was recorded in a different studio and then sent as like a 128 kilobyte MP3 to the mastering house.
It really does sound pretty bad.
It's just jarring every time I hear it. I'm like,
Yeah, but did you notice that in previous episodes? Because I did not. That could have just been a one-time thing.
It didn't stand out to me.
Well, I mean, I'll definitely be listening for it in the next one.
Yeah.
Because of how crappy it was.
I would have noticed it before.
I think I probably would have as well. I mean, I don't even listen to anime. In general, I don't listen with very nice headphones. But I still picked up on it like right away.
Yeah. I mean, I did notice that in the credits, Gibson and Nord are actually sponsors.
Yeah, well, you would expect that, right? Because their logos have been splashed on screen a couple of times, just very briefly.
And there
are going to be a whole, but there's like, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler, I guess, but there are going to be a whole bunch of artists, like musical artists, whose compositions are going to be featured in this show somehow, including some that I'm really excited about, like Flying Lotus and Thundercat. I don't know if you know who those guys are.
Those both sound like ancient Japanese fighting styles.
They kind of do. Well, not Thundercats, but Flying Lotus, definitely.
Thundercats, ho.
Right. That's an ancient American fighting style.
Well, not that ancient, but yes.
What are you talking about? The 1970s is like forever ago.
Yeah, but they've revived it so many times.
Did the 70s even happen?
It depends who you ask.
Okay. Yeah, Gus and his terrible voice. They meet at the pizza place, and he seems to pawn everything off to like Roddy, who's going to get them set up with Erdogan, who we saw last week. So, I guess hence the reason for his introduction. Although it doesn't work out.
And then he pawns the bill off on the girls.
Right. And
the pizza.
There was one other thing too. The voice teacher.
Yeah.
Who's actually like some sort of weird spiritual cult leader.
That was a mistake though, because he shows back up and he's like, I don't remember this.
Yeah. I wonder if that was a one-time gag or if that somehow that's going to be...
Maybe it's supposed to be like a reference that he was doing so many drugs that he thought it was vocal lessons, but it wasn't.
And the drugs wrecked his throat.
It's just why his mic sounds like it's in a dumpster.
No, it's not his mic. His mic's picking everything up perfectly. It's just that his throat is so shredded from his Motorhead screams.
Yep.
I can't even remember what instrument he played in that band. If they said.
Drums.
Oh, really?
He was the drummer.
Yeah, that's right.
What is it? Egerton? Edgerton? Erdogan, whatever.
We can just call him Pitbull.
We can call him E.
We could. How'd you like that guy?
I think he's supposed to be like a personification rather than a character. He's like him and the AI dude.
Well, that's not very complimentary to their characters or the show's writing.
I think they're supposed to be, characterizations of what maybe the writer perceives the music industry to be now.
Or what it might be in the future.
Yeah.
With AI involvement being so heavy.
I mean, Vocaloid. Like, it's not composed by AI, but the stage is literally holograms.
But it's really, that's a really big difference if music is composed by artificial intelligences.
Or sung by them.
Is that what?
Yes.
Is that? I mean, we haven't heard any of the AI music in Carole Tuesday yet. We just know that it's composed by AI. So I mean, maybe it's synthesized voices, but they probably don't sound anything like Vocaloid.
I mean, Vocaloid is synthesized voices.
Yes, but it sounds extremely robotic, purposefully so.
Right.
It's
like T-Pain.
My imagination. Yeah. Well, that's a different thing, I think. But I imagine that the synthesized voices that they have in this future, very closely mimic human voices.
Sure. Or close enough that people don't care.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to get any of that. I mean, going back for a second to the list of composers and artists who are going to be contributing to this series, I wonder, some of them are Japanese, some are Western. I think, I know the main composer for the series, Maki, is Canadian. So Watanabe is pulling from all over the place. And I mean, it's probably more because this series is a Netflix series than because of him, but people are, coming in droves to work on it. I wonder if any of their compositions are going to represent, the AI created and driven songs.
Who knows?
Not me. That's why I'm speculating about it.
But just remember,
boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
And light your music on fire.
That's right, dude. Why? It seems to me that the only reason she does that, I mean, first of all, Erdogan says, he very arrogantly dismisses them and says, I don't even need to listen to it to know that you...
To know it's trash.
Yeah, to know it's generic.
Yeah. Which it is.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to feel that way. So he says, you might as well throw it out with the burnables. Like the burnable trash, whatever. And so she, for some reason, she's like, I'll show him by literally burning it. And was her idea to set off the sprinklers? It seemed to me that she just went temporarily insane.
Yeah.
It was so dumb.
It's a short lapse in judgment.
It seemed like the only reason they set that up is because the title of the episode was Fire and Rain.
Right. I've seen fire. And I can't sing like James Taylor.
But at least you know that it's by James Taylor. I mean, the eye catch would have told you even if you
I knew the song anyways.
Yeah, the only reason they did it was to... But then why not just write it differently and name the episode something else? I don't get... That's pretty shitty.
It's which came first, the episode title or the episode?
Right. The classic question. Anybody want eggs? I'm kind of hungry.
Hungry for
Let's go for some chicken instead. How about that? You get it?
Is this a Fruits Basket reference?
No, the chicken or the egg. It was supposed to be like a little allusion to that.
I understood the allusion, what you said, the classic argument. But because you said you're hungry for eggs, reminded me of Fruits Basket.
Oh, because you keep eggs in a basket? Do we want to use that as a segue to Fruits Basket?
No, because the spirit of the cat likes fried eggs. That was like a pivotal moment in the show.
Was it? Oh, yeah. Okay, do we want to go... I guess there's more we could talk about with Carole Tuesday, but we could just move on.
Yeah,
we might as well at this point with all the talk about fried eggs.
AI versus teen spirit. That's how you sum up this episode.
Yeah, I guess. The AI guy and Angela still don't care about them. Her little segment with 37
I can sing
questions.
Higher because I'm being tortured. And look, I'm being interviewed at my house like everyone else.
Like everyone else.
It seemed like it was a recurring series or something.
Well, it seemed to be like some sort of YouTube video.
MTV Cribs.
Yeah, it was basically that. 37 questions with Angela. What's it? called.
Yeah. And
she was like,
AI
she was acting
pet.
like all coy, like, oh, you can't watch me go to the thing in my house, the swimming pool. What am I trying to say?
I'm gonna wave at you anyways.
Yeah. Oh no.
When I inexplicably
you can't go with
change in
me.
about 5 seconds.
Maybe it's a hologram. Maybe she was nude the whole time.
It's possible.
I think in Psycho-Pass there were holographic clothes.
I think you could change the appearance of your clothes, which probably meant you didn't have to wear any. But
Right. Well, no, maybe what you wore in Psycho-Pass was like, those reflective suits.
Yeah.
Like, remember the thermoptic camo in Ghost in the Shell? It probably looks, when it's not turned on, it probably looks like, it looks kind of like a stormy looking sky a little bit, kind of gray set against an off-white color. Maybe that's how the clothes in Psycho-Pass looked, and then you can project different stuff onto them. But it works even when you leave your house? I don't know.
Anyways.
I give up.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Giving up is good.
Great, yes.
Let's go on to Egg Basket.
Fruits
Episode
4. Year of the Boar.
Right. More like Year of the Boring.
More like
hey.
Year of the smashing open doors is funny.
Oh yeah, throwing people through windows.
Yes.
Girl doing masculine thing is a recipe for comedy.
And then being kawaii.
Kawaii,
is great.
Indeed. Flipping back and forth. I mean, they really got me with it the first time because she, at the end of episode 3, she was like peeking out from behind a tree. She had her little kitty backpack on. Is Kyo here? But in Japanese.
Right.
And then what happened after that? Oh yeah, she went totally nuts and was like, "You're going to marry me!"
And just like beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, and at one point she whirled him over her head like he was a helicopter blade.
And she like lifted off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I hear from like older anime, like actual anime fans, as opposed to me, the fake fan, only been watching for 10 years.
Fake anime.
The original Fruits Basket was like apparently more overtly comedic. By original, I mean the original anime adaptation in 2001. Perhaps too comedic. I know it was directed by Akitaro Daichi, who did Kodocha, which is a late 90s shoujo rom-com that I really love.
Mm-hmm, yes. I understand this reference.
Yeah. So when he did Fruits Basket, he also probably like bumped up the comedy a little bit compared to this one. So I was kind of surprised to see something so like ridiculous happen. The helicopter thing. That seemed like it might have been his style. That's nice, I guess. I mean, comedy's good, especially since this show might devolve into like drama and tears
and like
in the future.
Love hexagons.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's 12, so is that a dodecahedron? Is that what you call it when there's 12 sides?
I believe so.
Well, I guess there would be 13 and 14 because of the cat who's not part of the Zodiac and Toru.
Right.
Plus maybe some of the girls at school and...
Quadecahedron? I don't know.
Maybe. Anyway, what did you think of, what's her name? Kagura, the boar. Was her shtick of being like alternately, shy and reserved and then bloodthirsty?
Is the boar known for, is like in the personality traits of, like
the Zodiac?
Yeah. Does the boar have split personality disorder?
No, the boar is just very like single-minded and charges towards its objective. That's what Toru says at the end.
Right. And that made sense. But that doesn't explain the go from loving someone to beating the crap out of them and being like, who did this to you?
Well, she's not.
I've momentarily lost my memory. I don't know what's happening. Do you want some eggs?
Yeah. I don't think she ever lost her memory, did she?
Well, once she said, who hurt you like this? And he just went, you did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's taking things to the extreme, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of like, by the end of the episode, I was tired of it. The first time I was like, oh, okay. And especially knowing that Fruits Basket being published decades ago, like probably the way that it faked out the audience, by introducing her as like a really timid girl. And then all of a sudden she's a super martial artist. That was probably really new and inventive for the time. I mean, perhaps. It kind of feels like Rumiko Takahashi's style of writing, actually, and she did stuff well before Fruits Basket. But
it's kind of
seeing it now. I've seen this kind of thing in anime, like before.
It kind of reminds me of Sakura from Naruto, where she's like timid on the outside and her inner monologue is just like hyper violent and always yelling at people.
Right. Well, Sakura's not exactly shy or timid.
Well, she starts off that way at least.
No, that's Hinata. Hinata is the shy and timid one. Sakura is just like a normal girl.
I guess.
She has a crush on Sasuke like everybody else. She thinks Naruto is like a punk bitch like everybody else.
Yeah. This is
story of a girl
who
cried a river and drowned a whole world.
She looked inside. I actually don't know the words to that song.
Neither do I. Beyond that point.
Yeah. Anyways, I was kind of reminded of that parallel, just like outwards appearance and inner dialogue, except this was entirely just outward appearance and outward appearance.
Outer dialogue and kicking and helicopter spinning.
And screaming.
I mean, but did you think she was like cool, or did you think she was annoying, or what? Just generally.
I just don't. I guess I haven't seen enough of the story to know if she did anything, but nothing really moved forwards this episode. It was more.
Well, they introduced a new member of the Zodiac. That seems pretty important.
That seems pretty important. But then she leaves. So, like, the overall show at that moment hasn't really been impacted.
Well, we have
just
learned,
like, oh, he likes martial arts. He actually really likes it. I know how to punch people. You suck. Thank you. I'm paraphrasing, of course.
We didn't it wasn't as though, Kagura leaving like reset the status quo or anything. We did learn a few key pieces of information. Such as members of the Soma clan, like of the opposite sex, houses. When they hug each other or touch each other, they don't transform.
Right.
So marriages are typically arranged within the clan, or family, whatever. I don't know how incestuous it gets, but at some point it must have been. I assume. I've been transforming, baby, into a boy and then a girl.
It also makes sense. We don't talk about that.
And also what?
When the dog is trying to explain that like the Soma is just like being in a relationship,
that it would be more convenient.
Yeah,
because then you could have sex.
Yeah, and he just hits him in the face with a plate and just like, we don't speak of things like this.
Yeah, well, that wasn't the only bit of information that got cut off. There was also an allusion to Kyo's true form.
Self. Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
I don't know. Maybe there's like they turn into an animal, but maybe there's like a huge bestial version of it, like a spirit animal or something, or.
Yeah, well, I would say that the normal animals are kind of like spirit animals,
or maybe they transform and take on animal characteristics, but they still look vaguely human, like anthropomorphic or whatever.
Right, for the furries.
Yes, of course.
For the furries!
Looks like we need a new cleansing.
I
don't know. There's too many ways. There's too many branches you can go with, like a true form of someone who's like the embodiment of a zodiac or whatever. Animal. So it's a wait and see.
Yeah,
it's not really worth thinking about.
And
they'll show us at some point rather than telling us, or they'll tell us and then show us.
Well, they'll probably show us first, because
I figured it out. You're a bore. That doesn't really count as figuring it out.
Good old 90s feeling anime humor. It definitely felt like something out of an older series to me. That's supposed to be the Seinfeld bass. We need to move on a little bit here. This is getting a little too off topic. Oh yeah, at the very end, she gets a call from her grandfather or about her grandfather. And then there's that little moment where the hat like blows off the desk.
Yeah,
like
the grandfather.
Perhaps he's died.
Grandfather's dead.
I feel like that's probably a fake out. Don't you think this show is like always trying to fake out the audience? With Kagura being super violent,
super timid, and then turns out like she's really violent.
Yeah, she's violent. And then I don't know. What are some other examples? Did I just make that up?
That's
completely?
the only example.
Are you sure? There must be more, right?
I mean,
I don't know. I give up.
we're only like 2
I give up
episodes
again.
in.
I gave up on Carole Tuesday. I give up on Fruits Basket. I don't think her grandfather is dead. I think it's probably a fake out.
I mean, it
Of
wouldn't
some kind.
surprise me if he was.
No, I mean, you can't dump on her that much. Her dad died tragically. Her mom died horrifically.
Maybe the grandfather's got dementia,
Well, we know he does already in episode 1.
or he just doesn't remember things very well.
Yeah, during her flashback to the moment, like when she decided to leave her grandpa's house, he was referring to her as her mother.
Right.
So he has some sort of dementia, something
Maybe
like that.
he's diagnosed with mesothelioma and may be entitled to financial compensation.
Perhaps. He should probably call the toll-free number on your screen right now.
1-800-CALLATT. It's free for you and cheap for them.
Okay, we gotta get to the next one.
The next one being
One Punch Man.
episode 4.
Wait a minute. If it's One Punch Man, how come we be on episode 4? Shouldn't his first punch in the first episode have just ended things?
Well, yeah,
I mean, like the series.
obviously.
Okay, so now Planetace episode 13.
We're actually just gonna skip One Punch Man.
No, I think I'm good to talk about it. I thought this episode was okay.
I thought okay. That's the word I would use to describe it.
Huh? You didn't like it?
Not really.
Okay, why not?
Well, so for the one actual fight that happens, you basically don't.
Which is what?
Which is Metal Bat versus the insects.
Well, one is an insect, right? One is like a Venus flytrap, and one is some sort of crab thing.
It's a plant and then a millipede.
Oh, right. Kohai-pede.
Right.
And then Senpai-pede is the blue one.
And then there's
I can't remember what the purple one is called. It's like
Oni-pede or something. It's like
Oni-pede?
God.
Okay. Well,
Something
Oni
like
means
that.
demon.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that
demon
makes sense.
millipede. Who knows? So the fight with the first two, literally don't even see it. It's just completely off screen. And he's like, wow, that was easy. And then the two others show up. Metal Bat hits them once and the fight is over.
What? The blue guy?
Yeah.
I really thought that fight scene was trash. You remember the moment when the blue centipede, Senpai-pede, such a ridiculous name. He comes down, he kind of charges at him, and then Metal Bat holds out his metal bat, and it go like, all of his little individual legs go ding 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 against the bat, and you don't really see it happen. There's no recoil, there's no impact. There's just like some speed lines on the side of the screen.
And also that sound effect was garbage. It sounded so, because they used the same sound effect for when he's like slashing him in the face. I'm like, is his face made of metal? What's happening? I'm confused.
Well, I remember when he hits, is it the blue guy or the purple guy? When he hits it, I think it's the purple one, Oni-pede, if that's its name. He hits it with the bat and he goes, it kind of, the shock waves go through him a little bit. You see those little lines on the outside of his body, like just wiggling. He says, wow, that's really hard.
Yeah, he does.
So maybe it was the same for like the blue centipede guy. Maybe his body is really hard and that's why it made that metallic sound. I don't know.
Well, no.
Anime sound design sucks.
He like crushes him in one
general.
hit.
Real talk.
Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of good in some parts. Like explosions and earth hits sound good, but everything else is just meh.
I see.
But those first two are very easy to do.
How is an explosion easy to do? Do you just literally record an explosion?
Yeah.
I mean, that
And
might
then you
be a
just
standard
punch it up
practice
with some
here,
bass.
but oh yeah. Speaking of punching it up with some bass,
It's just like distorting
fucking
all over the
hate
place.
that trend. Yeah, super distorted explosion sounds. I mean, maybe that's how it sounds in real life. I don't know, but
And
it's annoying.
well, you know what an explosion is?
Yeah, it's a spark and then the air ignites.
Have you ever seen an actual shockwave from an explosion? Like where you can see the air dispersing.
I mean, I probably have.
A bomb blast is essentially sound that's above 183 decibels. It's so loud, it's turned into a physical force that can shatter.
Well, that's
Earth.
what sound is.
Yes.
It's waves.
Yeah.
So it's always sound is always a physical
so
force.
recording an explosion, basically, unless you're at a max at a huge distance, every explosion just blows microphones out. Like it's almost impossible.
But what
to
about
record.
eardrums? Is it actually as distorted as this current trend would?
It would just
lead you to
blow
believe?
your eardrums entirely. You would never hear again.
Well, now I'm totally accepting of the really ugly sounds that anime uses for explosions.
I think it's
Thanks, science.
I think it's okay. Like it's kind of I don't know.
It's just
stylized.
It's just great. Yeah, it's overly stylized. Yeah, it's like overproduced, I would say. It's grating.
That's a good word for it.
Anyways,
On to the rest of the episode.
I thought all the stuff with Metal Bat was pretty. I mean, it was the when he gets saddled with the really crappy job of supervising the.
It's like I'll go shopping with you tomorrow. Where are you? I'm at a sushi restaurant.
I can't remember. It was who was the guy that he was protecting?
It was some executive from.
Yeah, executive. That's the word I was looking for, from the Hero Association.
Yeah,
who has close ties to one of their sponsors.
Right.
This is
so
something
it's
that,
like keep the fat cats happy.
Right, and this is something that this season of One Punch Man's been digging at since the beginning. Like, for example, the meeting, I think it was in episode 2, of all the suits at the Hero Association.
And they care more about like naming heroes.
Yeah, they spend 2 hours coming up with dumb hero names, and they don't care about this gigantic threat. And only what's his face, whose name starts with an S, and he has that big bulbous nose. Can't remember his full name. Only he really cares about maintaining the peace and caring for the citizens, making sure they're protected, etc. And yet now we've got this guy who's completely out of touch, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't think that any sushi that cost less than $100 would be palatable, but this is kind of fun."
You're not supposed to put the plate back. You're not supposed to put the plate back. Do that one more time, it'll kill you.
So what happens if you go to one of those sushi restaurants, the conveyor belt ones, and you do just put all your plates back?
I don't know.
And they have no idea how to charge you.
I've never been there. They probably know or have a way to figure it out, but
well, I mean, the way that Metal Bat phrases it as he snatches the plates out of their hands is like they can't charge you if they don't know how many plates of things that you've had.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, sushi's expensive, so I'm probably never going to find out, even if I go to Japan someday. Which I've been thinking more and more about. I might like to go. I think we've talked about this before, but I think I might like to go just for the experience of going to the country, not for any
anime-related purposes.
Yeah, not anything anime-related or not anything like culturally specific. I think I just might like to go to see the sights and to just get away from America because it sucks here. LOL.
That's a lie. Greatest country on earth. MAGA 2020.
Oh, God.
Dab.
No, thank you. All right, what else? Yeah, forget about Metal Bat.
Yeah, forget about him. The introduction with Garo.
Well, that's the thing.
Why doesn't the monster get to win?
If we forget about Metal Bat, there's not much else to this episode. Like all the stuff with, let's talk about Garo. Yeah, the introduction. Like, how'd you feel about that? Him being like,
why are we developing this character?
What's
the point of this?
I don't know. Well, I mean, the way they're going about depicting his fascination with monsters is kind of like, I don't know, delicate and innocent almost, because we get him that like grainy flashback and like sepia tones.
Why don't the monsters get to win? It's so unfair.
Yeah, and then he like hangs out with Butt Chin Boy. JC Staff has really reduced his butt chin. It was like a practically a boner on his chin.
It was practically just nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this kid like hardly has a ball sack for a chin. You can't call him Baby Thanos anymore.
Nope.
Oh, I referenced it.
Oh, I mean, he's been in like a lot of the movies in like the last 10 seconds.
Okay.
Anyways,
so yeah, Garo hangs out with him and he's like, he's like his pal, and they look at the hero guidebook together. And of course, Garo is more interested in, finding people to murder.
Right.
But he's still like buddies
Where are
with
Garo's
this
parents
character.
when he was a child cheering for the monsters?
I don't know. Maybe
Is he like a foster baby?
Well, maybe his parents were one of his parents was a hero, and they abandoned him or something, and so now he roots for the villains.
Or his parents were actually monsters.
His parents were literal monsters,
Human monsters,
real monsters.
Inc. There wasn't Inc. at the end of that show.
Monsters Inc. and Real Monsters.
And then Real Monsters.
You could do a crossover, Real Monsters Inc. If that hasn't already been done, we could spend months editing it.
That's like $1,000 idea.
Yeah, I guess. Or
at least 100
in YouTube bucks, you might even make $15 in ad revenue.
Yeah, that's true.
Perhaps even 20.
How did you feel about the Saitama enters the competition, sits there, and then has a bunch of exposition thrown at him about a tertiary character?
Who? About a tertiary character?
Well, I mean, some of it's about Garo, but the other part's about
Charanko.
Charanko, and
who he's impersonating.
Right.
Sourface is the guy who is talking to him. That's what he refers to himself as.
Yes.
At one point. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I felt about it. It was fine, I guess. I was falling asleep towards the end of the episode.
Yeah,
honestly. I had just come home from a 12-hour shift.
This whole episode just didn't really interest me. It was okay.
Damn, that sucks because I thought it was decent.
Like, I think the most interesting thing to me in the whole episode was I literally can't even think of anything.
Well, there were 3 main stories in this episode.
There was
the stuff with Metal Bat. Everything, seeing Garo being like, "Yay, monsters!" and Saitama just hanging out in a break room. But I mean, based on the next episode preview, the tournament's actually going to start.
I didn't watch
the next one. There was a post-credit scene.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, there was a guy with like a jacket, kind of a handsome-looking dude who approaches 2 women near the stadium where the tournament's going to be, and he's like, "Hey, girls, can you give me some directions to the stadium?
The fighting tournament."
Yeah. And they're like, they look up at him and blush and say, "Oh my gosh, aren't you ...
A.N.I.M.E mask?"
No, it's not A.N.I.M.E mask. It's somebody else. You see his face.
Okay.
And he's got on a jacket with like star chips on. They're not star chips. The buttons are stars, but they reminded me of star chips. So he's some sort of fighter,
right?
I guess, who's gonna enter the tournament or something.
Blast.
Yeah, that actually occurred to me. Like, could this be Blast, who we haven't seen yet? And they omit his name when the girls are talking to him.
Except for the fact that Blast is in the opening.
He is?
Yeah. Bang and Blast are right next to each other.
Oh, we talked about this already. You think that it's what's his face's older brother?
Yeah.
Bang's older brother is Blast.
Yep.
I wonder if that's a misdirect in some way for the show to reveal its number one like strongest character.
Who's never been seen
this early.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt that that's him. But I mean, it is in the OP, so maybe they just goofed. Or decided it didn't really matter. I don't know. So you weren't too hot on it, huh?
No, not really.
Well, once the tournament starts, that'll probably kick things up a notch.
Yeah, Saitama wins every fight in one hit.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think I was talking about this last week. That's where the humor comes from. Is Saitama one-shots everybody, and then the show will spend like tons of time on like the agony and the like victories by a hair's breadth that other characters gain over the others. Advance to the next round, and they're like, "I'm staking my whole life on this." What did Sourface say about this tournament?
He'll get his confidence back or something.
Well, yeah, but there's 2 main reasons why he was interested. One is this is one of the best ways to get your name out there as a fighter.
Right.
The other one was about the impersonator of Watchdog Man.
Right, who's
an S-class
Garo.
hero. Well, that's his speculation, but I don't think so.
No, he said it was Garo.
No, Sourface?
Yeah.
No, he says, I think it was Garo.
Oh.
It wasn't, I don't think it was actually.
They found Watchdog Man passed out in the
gutter.
In his locker room or something. Yeah.
Right, they do find him in a locker.
What did Saitama mislabel the fighting style as?
Something about carbonation. The last word was carbonation.
Fist flowing bubbles carbonation. Yeah. I think was something like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's an idiot.
Yeah,
So.
he is an idiot. But he's our idiot.
He's not my idiot. Hashtag not my idiot.
Hashtag hope this show gets better.
I think it's all right.
The first season the bar was set so high, though.
Yeah.
I really think that
it was.
It's just hard to get back up to that level.
I mean, you already know how I feel about the second half of One Punch Man season 1.
Right.
If they like, they make it back, turn it back into a satire, a parody, whatever, rather than it just being an action series, then I'm good. I mean, I don't think that this season's going to be anything special. There are production issues. Production issues implies that there's something wrong with the production. And by all accounts, they are like really behind schedule. But just stylistic choices that I don't like as well. The whole thing with the blue centipede that we discussed earlier, where he's supposed to be like buffeted by this rush of legs and of like armor plates and stuff, but it's just him, like, he's holding the metal bat and it goes ding 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 ding.
Yeah, it's like the same like 4 frames repeated. With
no,
some sound
he
effects.
does kind of move a little bit in the center of the screen, but hardly. Yeah, you're just like moving back and forth in your chair.
Yeah,
very very stiffly. It looked like that. Yeah. I mean, there were some decent looking scenes in this episode. The one where he like gets up on top of the Onipede, the purple one, and he kind of like runs along its segmented parts. That looked pretty nice. That's the one moment that's really jumping out to mind, into my mind.
Garo tries to hit metal bat and he blocks it, but it like heats up his bat in that one spot.
That was right at the end of the episode. That's when I was like literally about to pass out. I was kind of disinterested and also exhausted. But I do remember they're set to have a little showdown. So I assume that it's going to be some sort of stalemate, so that Garo will be kept at a power threshold that's like on par with or slightly below the S-class heroes, so that he can work his way up, because they do seem to be laying a lot of groundwork for his character to continue to reappear.
Right. I mean, he's appeared in 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Pretty extensive.
And you asked, what is the point of this character? I mean,
like, what is is he supposed to actually challenge Saitama? Because we already know that that's false.
Yeah. And he lost his memory of his encounter with Saitama.
He got hit so hard, he lost his memory.
Right. What's the point of his character? I mean, he just provides a different perspective on the typical, battle anime formula where the good guys are like totally righteous and always win. But I don't know.
But he's so comically evil.
Yeah, that's true.
That it serves no purpose.
Well, I think part of the reason why he comes off as comically evil is because they don't want to make him truly evil. I mean, I think he is truly evil.
Yeah, he is.
But they don't want him to be like unlikable.
How is he likable?
Because, like I said, he's his affection for monsters is being handled kind of delicately, like with the flashback at the start and his palling around with the ugly looking kid on the park bench, like, oh, let's see what you got in the guidebook today,
rather than him just like taking the book.
Yeah,
and just killing the kid, which he could easily do.
Yeah, but he wouldn't kill the kid, I don't think. Doesn't he only target heroes and members of the Hero Association? He doesn't target normal people or ordinary civilians, from my recollection.
Right, which doesn't make any sense, because if he's supposed to be like the king of all monsters, don't they just inflict mass casualties?
This was addressed in either episode 2 or 3. Garo like spoke about this, and I can't remember what exactly was said, but the gist of it is he wants to be the ultimate monster. So he's not going to go after civilians like typical monsters would. He wants to be the king of all monsters. So he's going to go after the heroes specifically. That's his reasoning, I suppose, or perhaps the show's reasoning, maybe if it came from elsewhere. As for what the ultimate purpose of his character is, like where we're going to end up, post Garo introduction, post Garo fleshing out, and once we get to the end, wherever that may be,
right?
I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see what they do with it, because I do like, when anime messes around with characters who are not like paragons of virtue, not like totally moral at all times.
Goblin Slayer.
Well, Goblin Slayer was just shit. I watched one episode and I'm making that judgment unfairly. But let's be real, it's totally fair.
Let's be real T.
Let us be real T.
Location, location, location. You know what else has a location?
Planetes.
It does.
The moon,
Earth.
space. Oh yeah, Earth.
The whole first episode, the whole 13th episode was on Earth.
Right. I really liked it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I did too.
I liked seeing Hachi's younger brother.
Yeah.
He's like some punk, kind of.
Astrophysicist, punk.
Right. He wants to be an engineer as opposed to an astronaut. I wonder what the deal is with their dad, because Hachi doesn't have a good relationship with his father. I think it was in this episode.
The dad is an astronaut as well.
Right. And that's what we learned in this episode. So Hachi followed in his father's footsteps, even though he has some problem with him. But even the younger brother is like, no, I don't want to be like my dad. So I wonder what the deal was. Did he's not home, obviously, because he's in space, but did he like abandon the family, or
maybe he works for Into and they just
maybe, yeah,
don't like him because of that. Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, maybe they just resent him from being away from home for so much and leaving their mother alone to raise them.
Maybe
that he was just absent. That's enough reason for kids to resent their parents. Like if they're not there. Yeah. I guess. I mean, I'm sure that his dad is going to appear at a future point. This is anime, and they love digging into that sort of thing.
There's a really interesting detail right at the start, or pretty close to the start of the episode, after the rocket had blown through the house and they were fixing the doors. There was a stack of doors leaned up against the house.
Oh, I didn't see that.
As if this happened all the time.
Yeah.
And so they just ordered them in bulk.
Why would it specifically go to their house? Because it's supposed to be out of control at that point. He launched it down at the beach.
Right. I don't know. Plot significance?
Yeah. Well,
it has a go home.
It's just a coincidence.
It has a go home function that he didn't know he programmed into it.
Maybe that's why it's going haywire.
Maybe he's actually trying to blow up the house.
Maybe he hates his mom too.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just like a little devil spawn and hates everyone.
Little shit.
Well, yeah. But I think he's cool. It's interesting that he wants to beat his older brother. He wants to go into space too, but he wants to do things a different way. He wants to be a little smarter about it, perhaps.
He wants the first time he goes to space to be on his own rocket.
Right. Yeah.
To go to
Which
Mars.
is not going to happen. But he has that same dream.
Right.
Hachi.
Hachi wants to own his own spaceship.
Yeah. Well, he can't do that, but he does have a new toy box to play with.
That's true.
But that's for a future episode.
Oh, I mean, it's mentioned in this episode.
Oh, yeah, it is, because they have that little conversation with Fee. Yep. And we get to see her with her husband and her son.
Yeah.
And then we get to see everybody else, too. That was a nice little montage, because they were all on Earth, weren't they?
Yeah, they all were.
They got a vacation.
Because their ship was blown up.
Right. I was kind of surprised that after Fee saved the day, that more glory wasn't brought to Half Section. They do get the new toy box, which is awesome. But I expected to have at least one scene where a character was tripping over themselves to be like, "You guys are the greatest, thank you so much." But I guess that wouldn't happen. They just treat it as a fluke because they're the dogs of the seven.
As well as who knows how much of that mission is known by other people.
Yeah, I guess.
Because remember, we heard about the people who they heard about that there was almost a collision and someone saved it, but they had no idea who it was.
Oh yeah, and you mean Hachi's mom?
That was us
back on Earth.
Yeah. So it's possible it's just not common knowledge.
Well, because it was a terrorist incident, not a lot of details are going to get out. I guess they're going to be suppressed.
Yeah.
By whatever relevant
the government
bodies.
Into.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of romance in these episodes.
Yes, there is.
A lot. Which I thought was good. I like the scene where he and Tanabe are at the supermarket, and he runs into his old friend,
Right.
who's gotten hitched and has a kid.
It's like, you're fat now. You've gone dad bod on me. That's the first thing you say.
Yeah, he's Tanabe's right when she says that he doesn't have any delicacy. He just says whatever's on his mind.
And that's a good thing, because men are normally terrible at communicating.
Men are children their whole lives.
Thanks, Fee.
According to Fee, yeah. I've heard that said before, like multiple times.
In multiple ways.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that Planet Taste did not invent the phrase, but
no.
I mean, she has a husband who she hopefully loves, has a decent relationship with. So not too much poison to the saying for her, I suppose. But I mean, maybe we are just children our whole lives. The two of us are men, and we're talking about
we're men
cartoons.
Question mark?
I just said cartoons.
Because there are cars.
Are there?
I mean, probably. They have moon cars.
We saw some cars in the parking lot of the grocery store.
There was also a really big emphasis on Yuri this episode as well.
I wouldn't say really big. I mean, kind of, since he is usually just hanging out in the background.
There's a lot of significance to his scenes, though.
Yeah, he gets rid of the compass.
Right.
We get that flashback about like him traveling the world in search of like wisdom and
a vision quest,
trying to figure out the nature of everything.
There are no boundaries,
right? Like there are no borders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the symbolism didn't totally click with me because like the compass is supposed to be fired from the rocket, like from the Earth into space. Like it's supposed to be significant that it's crossing that threshold.
Right.
But if there are no borders, then how is it significant?
It was already in space.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's the meaning of the launch, is that it didn't actually go anywhere. We're all one, no matter where we go, here we are.
One nation, into, indivisible, with space rocks and helium-3 for all.
More like with guns and tanks for all. Blow up your shit.
Yep.
Did you catch the little conversation between Yuri and what was the kid's name? Kyusaro. About how he's like electrolyzing seawater.
Yeah.
In order to power this rocket. When he said that, I was like, I know some of those words. I couldn't even describe to you I have a general idea of what electrolyzation is, but it's like transforming, no, I don't.
It's
transforming water into power somehow.
Some type of hydrogen is used as a rocket propellant. And since water is mostly hydrogen, you can actually kind of filter the two in order to make a rocket fuel.
But how on earth could he do that? Just working out of that little...
It's 2076. Stop asking questions.
Well, he's just working out of a little fisherman's hut. And he's got faulty...
People live on Mars. Stop asking questions.
They do?
Well, they do experiments on Mars, and people live in space stations.
I mean, they do experiments on Mars. Have we been to Mars yet in this show? We haven't.
It's been mentioned in episode 14.
Who lives on Mars?
We'll have to take our experiments to Mars.
Oh, that's right. They do mining there.
Yeah, and the kid said he wants to go to Mars.
Maybe when they get there, they'll find Carole Tuesday. They'll be able to write some better lyrics for them.
Yep.
Maybe the song, that little insert song with the really breathy sounding vocals.
Yeah.
It was in the episode where with the girl who's lived on the Lunarian girl.
Yes.
At the very end,
that's actually Carole Tuesday's breakout hit.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's them.
Yeah.
It all comes full circle.
Time traveling Watanabe.
That's what he does best. No, he doesn't. What else? Yeah, Yuri's backstory as a wanderer was kind of bizarre. We didn't see him meet his wife. I was kind of expecting that,
we didn't see where they met, but we saw his wife.
We did?
In one of the flashbacks, yeah.
What? I totally missed that.
Yeah.
I'm sad. Which flashback? Was
Like,
she
it was
part?
there is at the very end of the Vision Quest. He's like, then I met a woman, and
I didn't. What? I was like listening for that. I was ready to have that be like the punctuation mark on that scene, and I
yeah,
guess it went by me somehow.
it was there.
And then I met a woman. No, I thought that the ending of it was he meets the old man, who was what was the old man's profession or his former profession?
He was a fisherman or something. It was like an old fisherman or an old sailor or something.
Yeah, it was something about sailing. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, he's like, oh, you're trying to do hard.
I swear I remember his wife being in there at some point.
I kind of feel like you're wrong, but
I mean, I might be, but I don't know why I would remember that if it didn't happen.
Because you were expecting it, and so was I. But I don't think it happened. It was like the conversation with the old man that kind of puts a period at the end of that sentence or what have you.
Yeah.
I was expecting to like get a little scene where he meets his wife. I thought it would have been cute. I don't remember it.
Nope, because she's dead, so it doesn't matter. And now the compass is in space.
Yeah, he says to Fee in episode 14, like he met an engineer on Earth who helped him get rid of like a part of himself that he needed to jettison or to
part of himself he
delete
needed to let go.
Yeah, well, he uses some other term.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of harsh the way that he phrased it. Like you still want to treasure the memory of your wife, right?
Right, but holding on to what seemed to be almost like a poisonous motivation for him. But holding on to that can be bad, so you'd want to let go of it harshly.
Let go of it harshly?
Or quickly, or abruptly.
Perhaps, like rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. Shoot it into space.
Did you notice that the characters' internal thoughts were like really echoey in this episode? When they're all sitting around the table, for example, and like Kyutaro is thinking about, oh, what was that compass? Like what significance could that compass have? It was echoing like mad.
Yeah, in order to separate it out from the rest of the dialogue.
Well, yeah, but it was just more
than usual.
Yeah, more than usual, I thought. I don't know.
I mean, maybe I didn't really notice it. I just
maybe it was, it came to my attention so strongly because Planet Taste doesn't normally do internal monologue.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it does sometimes. I think it's probably done it in the past, but it's not like a staple of its direction or its.
It's not like two characters in DBZ monologuing to themselves for 6 episodes while charging.
They don't do that, right? They shout everything out loud. I haven't actually seen.
Neither have I.
I don't think I've seen a full episode.
I don't think I've seen anything but the abridged series.
Okay. Oh yeah, so a lot of romance in these episodes. I thought it was pretty good.
In episode 14, office romances are prohibited because some dude got some other dude pregnant and that got another dude fired.
Some dude got another dude pregnant? This really is the future.
What is this, Knights of Sidonia?
It's a holiday in Sidonia, and everything is CG.
As a holiday in Sidonia, don't forget to grab a sexually amorphous blob.
Oh, we could have done a little rhyme about pee. Wasn't there some weird thing about pee?
I saw 2 episodes and it was just like, this is garbage. I stopped watching.
I think I got to the 3rd or 4th one and something weird happens with like somebody's pee gets all over another character because they all wear like
pee
they
bag,
all have
diapers.
They all have bags. Yeah, diapers.
Colostomy bags.
Whatever.
That'd be a dystopic future.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a lot of romance, and despite the fact that office romances are banned in episode 14, they decided
when
to do it
someone
anyway.
says I can't do something, it makes me want to do it more.
Yeah, I thought they laid that on pretty damn thick as a way of setting up their eventual
romance.
The little scene where they get together at the end of episode 14. I really did like the final shot of the back of his head.
Yeah.
The headband, implying that Tanabe was like laying one on him.
Right.
I thought that was kind of cool.
One thing I've always really liked about this show is the way hair is done in Zero Gravity. When they make a movement, the hair doesn't go with them. It like lags behind for a second and then catches back up because of just the way physics, yeah, because of just how that things work in space. I've always liked that. And the end where Hachimaki's headband is just like
Hachi's Hachimaki.
Hachimaki's Hachimaki.
Yes, is slowly like
just like
drifting through the air.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if air is the right word to use even.
There is air in there.
Yeah, one would hope.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just doomed lovers.
Otherwise, they're two lovers deprived of oxygen.
They can just do nonstop, CPR breaths on each other. Just lock their mouths together and just share one breath of oxygen for all time.
That's not how oxygen works, or air, but okay.
I just thought that him being, so resistant to, what's the word? To instruction or to his superiors, like bossing around, telling him what to do. It was too clear that that's how they would get together. I mean, like 3 times in the episode, he says, "I really hate it when people tell me what to do. It just makes me want to do the opposite. I'm 10 years old."
Men really are just children.
They are just children forever. He was right. He was right all along.
Then we had the toy box gets its first shakedown. Toy box 2, that is.
What shakedown is that?
Well, when they're leaving, that's like their shakedown run. Because they were actually just going out to do like tests and stuff. Because it's the first time they've run the ship.
Was it just tests they were doing?
They weren't getting anything because they were doing a test with the...
when you said shakedown, I thought of like a robbery.
A shakedown run is like to test to see if everything's working properly. You shake it down to make sure nothing falls off before you use it the first time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But they don't say shakedown. They say taking free.
I think they literally say that it's a shakedown run.
Oh, I didn't get that.
But either way, that's what it was.
Yeah, and then they end up saving what's his face, the same.
They dude who knocked up another dude. I don't know if anyone's on it.
No, it's unmanned.
Yeah,
they need to get the research data from it after there were 2 more days left. Right. And of course, the head of Section 3, their boss, was just leaving it in the path of the meteoroid.
Let it explode so we can get the insurance money.
Did you notice? Did your sub say meteoroid?
I mean, we have the same subs, so it probably did, but my brain fixed it, so I didn't notice it.
Well, maybe meteoroid is an actual term.
I think it might be. Maybe it's
not as big as a meteorite?
Between a meteor and a meteorite is a meteoroid.
Yeah, maybe. It wouldn't surprise me to learn
it's the stage 1 evolution.
It's like learning that something exists between millimeter and centimeter. Wait, nothing does.
Nothing exists.
It's like learning that something exists between meter and centimeter. Decimeter. When I first learned that as a kid, my mind was blown.
There is nothing between meter and centimeter.
Yes, there is, because a centimeter is 100th of a meter, but there is a 10th of a meter, a decimeter.
I guess it's just never used.
Well, as Americans, we don't think about it very much.
I don't think even the Europeans use it.
Well, I wouldn't be so quick to make that judgment. And actually, somebody who listens to this podcast, although he doesn't listen to the Planet Taste parts, is from Europe. So he could tell us if he were listening, which he's not.
Right.
But I don't think it's safe to say that they don't use it. I think they probably do because they use the metric system.
Right. But every time I see something measured in a length, I always see it in centimeters. I've never seen anyone just move the decimal point over and then put DM instead.
They probably do that in some situations.
I've never seen anyone do it.
Yeah,
so.
But you live in America, so the types of measurements that you see are going to be...
I watch a lot of stuff from Europe.
I'm sure they use decimeters sometimes, at least more often than we do.
Anyways, so Section 2 interferes with Section 3 because they're trying to stop more debris from being made.
And they hate when people tell them what to do.
And the assistant manager is just like, no, don't do it. I don't want to get fired.
Yeah, Lavi says, don't do it. Guy's voice is... I'm the manager. That guy's voice is so irritating. And even the actual manager, the guy who looks like he's wearing a wig with the glasses.
Yeah.
His voice is like I don't know where they got that guy.
Parts bin.
I want to look him up, actually, see who his Seiyu was. And,
See what he looks like.
well, that might be interesting, but what else he's been in? Because he's probably gotten a lot of comedic roles. I don't imagine he can be in too many dramatic productions, though. I mean, this is one, I suppose.
Yeah. The
Maybe not too many dramatic roles.
He doesn't have a dramatic role in this show, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how could he with a voice like that?
And there's the temp worker. I remember we didn't mention we saw her on Earth as well.
Yes,
she's like studying for her law degree or something.
Yeah, something like that. We do see her in the library. That was like the last note I made about episode 13. I'm still waiting on the episode that kind of focuses on her. If they're going to show us her studying for something, then we probably ought to learn, what it is,
right?
Which we will eventually, I assume. So we're into the second half of the series at this point.
The meat and potatoes, as
having
you
watched
were.
episode 14. And I mean, I definitely remember Planet Taste being a tale of two halves, the second one being very different from the first, but that's not really recognizable just yet. We know that something significant is coming up for Cheng Xin, though.
Right, the mission to Jupiter.
Yes.
And he wants to be a pilot to go there.
Right, and that's probably, I mean, maybe that's just a device that's going to, well, I'm going to spoil something. And it is going to be significant, the mission to Jupiter. You could, looking at it from the perspective of a first-time viewer, you could think, oh, well, maybe that's just a tool that they're going to use to get him out of the picture so that Hachi and Tanabe can be...
I mean, based on everything I know about space dramas, whenever there's like a new mission to go to a planet, that's usually how like a government that opposes another government gets formed. They go away somewhere else and then realize, wait, we can survive on our own. Why are we paying them? Civil War. Maybe not. Maybe that's not what happens.
Well, we do have 12 episodes left. That maybe they have enough time for that. I guess we'll see. But it is the mission to Jupiter is going to be significant.
Yeah, I did actually figure that.
So yeah, Cheng Xin is like, Tanabe's giving me the cold shoulder, bro.
And he's like,
and Hachi's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot that we almost kissed. Hello? How would you forget that? I mean, I guess you could. I don't know. But if it's the sort of thing that he's
a child.
Well, if it's the sort of thing he's going to forget so quickly, I wonder like what that says about the percentage of success
of their relationship.
Yeah. Like whether it's going to last or not.
It's an anime relationship. They'll break up once and then be stronger together forever.
Yeah. Well, isn't that just like rom-coms in general?
Yeah, pretty
much. They
much.
break up and then the guy runs through the rain to get the girl or something. I hope that doesn't happen.
It's a rom-dramedy.
Indeed.
So that's our podcast.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else you wanted to add for
Well,
anything.
I just have like minor notes about like characters like Lucy and Claire and how they factor into like the love pentagon, and like Claire asked the OSA guy, she asked him about Tamara.
Right.
From episode, what was that, 12?
Yes.
It was either 11 or 12.
11. Because 12 was the our ship just blew up.
Oh yeah, cigarettes.
Yep.
LMAO.
Cigarettes, Lamau, terrorism.
Yeah, exactly. Laughing my ass off at eco-terrorists. Yeah, that's our podcast. We do have, Claire, Cheng Xin, Lucy, they're all in the background, but they're not important.
And Dolph's just like, hey, so file a report, buddy. Boop.
Fuck you.
I do what I want with my section.
If only he'd said it in that tone.
With like a fadeaway jump shot.
In 0G. The ball just keeps going. All right, we're done. See you next week.
Tune in next week for the same thing, but add an episode.
And we got done in less than an hour and 10 minutes this time. Sweet.